Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. I hope this finds you taking a moment to take care of you. Whenever you receive this, know that it's the right time, but especially when this will be going live, there are some things we're having to work through as a country, as a collective. And when I was thinking about this video, I thought it was really important that in order to build a community and relationship here with all of you, y'all need to get to know me, especially thinking about how the next year and couple of years are going to look. It's important that we have our community and our people, and we feel like we have people around us that we can trust. And I believe trust is built through transparency and vulnerability. So I'm really looking forward to the Yap Chat that's about to happen, a little Q&A that I did on Instagram. I'm gonna answer the questions live. And essentially this is just me sharing about me, so you get familiar with who I am, and I would love to know something about you. So make sure you like, subscribe, share, do all the YouTube things, but more importantly, let me know about you in the comments. Where are you joining from? What's something you look forward to this holiday season? I think it would be really cool if everyone shared how they most take care of themselves. Whatever self-care looks like for you. It could be something like taking a trip or going on a spa experience, or just enjoying 10 quiet minutes in your car, which I often do. In this season right now, I lost my voice when I was cheering at New York City Marathon. I also have a bit of a cold, so I'm leaning into slow, easy, quiet moments as much as I can before I gear up for next training cycle. So let's just get into it. I have a couple of beverages here just to help with my cold that I'm working through. I have an iced coffee that I made, and I also have some water. So wherever you are, this is your invitation to take a sip of your beverage of choice. Oh, it's every time. All right, and we're gonna keep this super casual, super smooth, nothing crazy. I have a couple of questions that Instagram fam asked that I think is easier just for me to answer here. And that way y'all can just come back to when you want, or just tap into when you need it. So just cozy up if you're able to. Let's dive right in. So the first question is, can you share more of your story? And the second part of that is, when did you go pro? So I'll share mostly about my story. So I am born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio. I attended high school there, all of my schooling, before going to the University of Tennessee to play volleyball. I was a Lady Vol for 5 years because in my senior year, I tore my ACL. So I had full ACL reconstructive surgery, partial MCL, bone bruise. And that was a really challenging time, just having to work through my first major injury and surgery as an individual and as an athlete. During that time, I had an incredible career at Tennessee. I was an All-American, won SEC championship, trained with the USA team, and had several NCAA runs. So I am an athlete through and through. My dad played professional football. He played for the Rams, the Patriots, and the Giants. My mom was super disciplined and incredible athlete in her own right. She was a bowler, and bowlers are athletes too. So a lot of the lifestyle that I live and the habits I form and the discipline that I have comes from my parents and was ingrained in me from a very young age, and then reinforced once I got into playing sports throughout middle school, high school, and then college, and also professionally. I played professionally in Finland for one season only, mostly because my mom, she had cancer, it came back, so she was sick. And so I always told myself I just want at least one season to fully feel like I've rehabbed myself, right? So 5 years at Tennessee, that fifth year was the year just getting back into the swing of things after having ACL surgery. So my pro season was the first season back where I felt like myself, the athlete that I was, and will forever be. And I really enjoyed going to Finland. It was a country I had never been to before. Before I went, I watched an Anthony Bourdain special, RIP, and that was my introduction to Finland. I had no idea where it existed on the map, and going to a Nordic country is a completely different experience. Prior to that, I'd been to Europe. I don't even know if I'd been to Europe before that. because I did my tryout in the summer, which is an incredible experience in Finland because they get just about 24 hours of daylight when I went in July. So 11 p.m. looked like 8 p.m. In our summertime. And then in the wintertime, it is a lot of darkness. Sun doesn't rise till about 9 a.m. and sets around 2 or 3. So it's quite dark, but Finland is a country that embodies a lot of the wellness practices, community practices that I really love, appreciate, and cherish, from sauna culture to gathering of family and friends to winding down properly in the evening to turning up late at night. It's Europe. I had a really incredible experience in Europe, got to know a lot of my fellow teammates who were Finnish as well, with the 2 other foreign players, a woman from Denmark and a woman from Puerto Rico, I think. No, from Venezuela. And yeah, I can dive into that another time, but after I played volleyball, I want to make sure I'm also sharing everything properly. Once I was done with that season and my mom's cancer returned, I came back to the States. I coached volleyball as an assistant at the University of Cincinnati. I was there as a playing coach, which was an incredible opportunity to be able to play and also coach. So I was able to still feed my inner athlete, but also take what I had learned from my professional experience and help kind of shape our program, which was really great. I mean, I got to help develop a woman who's now part of the USA national team, Jordan Thompson. I played with Kelsey Robinson when she was at Tennessee. And volleyball and sports has really impacted my life in a life-changing, truly way. And this is before women's sports, specifically volleyball, got a quarter of the attention that it is now as far as media and opportunities. So I feel very, very fortunate. However, during that time, while I was at Cincinnati, my dad unexpectedly passed away. My mom's cancer came back again, and I resigned at Cincinnati. I moved home to Cleveland. I worked at the Cleveland Clinic, and I was my mom's caregiver for about a year before I moved to Chicago, where I worked as a project manager at Northwestern University within a data center. So I was a project manager in a data warehouse, which was an experience I never even thought I'd had. And I appreciate our center director who looked at my resume and was like, hey, I know this isn't your background, but you're an athlete. You have those soft skills that are often hard to find, and you have an interest in public health. So let's give it a go. And I worked there for quite a few years, being part of research studies, IRB, helping write protocols, cold calling, trial recruitment. It was really, really special. And as someone who is a data nerd, and actually I wanted to get my master's in public health prior to getting my master's in sports psych and kinesiology at the University of Tennessee, it was right up my alley. And it makes me feel like now I need to go back to school, because I've always really loved data and getting to know populations, especially like Chicago, that's super data rich because of how diverse it is at a really granular level. Was really, really wonderful. So while I was here, I skipped over when I lived in Cleveland, I worked at the Cleveland Clinic, but while I was here in Chicago, that's where I really started getting into the fitness space, if you will, coming from playing professional sports, having to guide and do my own workouts, and then being in a city that had a blooming fitness space and community was where I started to insert myself in a lot of these different opportunities through whether it was like boutique fitness or more traditional strength training. High Rocks wasn't around yet. Running was still very homogenous here in Chicago, at least from my experience. And that's really where I started wanting to develop 100 miles a summer, right? Like I needed to get to know this new city. I didn't have a car when I moved here, and the best way I found to explore a new city was by foot. So 100 Miles Summer started in 2018, the summer after I moved to Chicago. And it started with 12 of us. A lot of us were former athletes, and it was really competitive, and I found myself sprinting 5Ks during my lunch break, which was insane. And I wondered why running was always such a negative experience for me. And over time, 100 Miles a Summer has just become something so much more meaningful and special and connected, and beyond the sprinting or finishing it first, because obviously my challenge the first year to finish first. But within that same time, when I moved to Chicago and started 100 Miles a Summer and group fitness, I went through a lot of changes, like after that first summer in 2019, then my mom passed away unexpectedly. Well, I guess progressively, but unexpectedly nonetheless. She had breast cancer, she had a mastectomy, and then it progressed eventually to her bones and liver and finally her brain. And in 2019 is when I moved back home to Cleveland to be her caregiver until she passed away. And it was this weird time because I was at home in Cleveland by myself while the rest of the world was still spinning and moving and living, and I was very much isolated. And this is when I also was approached by Nike to be part of the 2019 Chicago Marathon campaign. I was approached by Lululemon to be part of their Luminaries program, which was they were bringing 20 women together who were just change makers or pace setters within their group, within this community of Chicago from different industries, and like creating this core group of women to lean on each other. And these women that were part of this Lululemon Luminaries experience was really my first lifeline into fitness and building this relationship with Lululemon beyond product. It started with a group of individuals who just became, so special to me during a time where they didn't know me and they didn't owe me anything. I was going through something really hard at the time. I lived in Chicago. I was living in Cleveland. I would drive to Chicago to be part of these Luminary experiences, which were just a monthly gathering where we'd have dinner and have some conversation, sweat together, and then I would drive back to Cleveland because I was taking care of my mom. So it's really special to be a Lululemon ambassador now, going on 4 years, and I am grateful. So, all right, we're gonna keep moving along with this story. It's a lot, guys. Y'all asked. We're almost at the end though. So 2020, in the early part of 2020, is that right? I worked for Weight Watchers, was approached to be part of their Digital 360 experience, which is essentially holistic programming, mindset, movement, food, sleep, the tenets of holistic health and not only weight loss, to build this program that would, help thousands of individuals in their member base just lead healthier lives, which was the first time that I was able to see that everything I was interested in could come together and be one job. Prior to that, I kind of just led with different interests and different opportunities. To this day, I don't really have a north shining star of what I want and where I'm going, but I know what I'm interested in and I know what it feels good. So I was one of, I think there was 10 coaches total of us that were part of this program. Fast forward 2022, where are we at? 2022. New CEO comes in, sunsets the program, I'm laid off. And that's where I've been for the past 2 years, is living in this self-employed, moving into the entrepreneurial space of Kayla Jeter, Fit and Full by Kayla, 100 Miles a Summer, A Healthy Hustle, wellness consultant, speaker, host, content creator, all of those things. And I would love to say I have a plan of what it's all going to look like, but I really don't. But I've had the support through my sisters, my family, a brand like Lululemon that has shown me so much and pushed me physically, which has then also pushed me mentally. With them, I've been able to do several ultra marathon relays. I've run now 5 marathons. I've run my first ultra, the Lululemon Further Feet, and running has been a place for me just to discover who I am. And yeah, so that was a lot there, but I'm a multifaceted human, which is why I struggle zoning in on one thing to only share, only highlight, but we're all multifaceted, right? Okay, so let's go. We answered some of those. Okay, so the question is, hi, what did you do before fitness? Advice for someone wanting to pivot into fitness career. So I think it's often not confused, but perhaps because the assumption is the one thing I show online is my career path as well. It's not. I'm not a fitness instructor full time. I don't work out of a studio. I never have worked out of a studio. I've done fitness experience and pop-ups with Lululemon, whether it's through Run. I used to lead some classes down the south side around strength for runners. And this was just in collaboration with the run crew down there, 7 on Sundays. So I've never formally been in the fitness industry as an instructor. I am just someone who's passionate about movement, about health, about wellness, about finding confidence through your body, through movement. And as far as someone wanting to pivot into the fitness career, advice I have, first and foremost, it's super concentrated. It's super, that's not the word I'm looking for. I suppose it is concentrated too. We'll get there. It's, there's a lot going on. And like anything you're looking to achieve or move into for a career, being very clear on your why, what's your motivation or reason in getting into this industry, who are you looking to serve or help out, what do you want to share? Do you want to do yoga? Do you want to do strength? Do you want to do mobility? Do you want to do a blend of everything? When do you want to make this pivot? Knowing that there's no perfect time, but there is a time for you to make a jump where you feel the most supported, and how you want to go about it. There's so many options, right? Again, I'm not someone who was in or is in a traditional fitness space as far as a gym or a formalized personal trainer. But I offer all those things and the experiences that I lead, the information that I share, and what I'm interested in just being a part of. So that's what I would recommend. Okay, this is kind of the same lane. Advocate, influencer, I don't know, but you're living a dream. I want to hear more. I'm gonna be very honest and real with y'all. I had no intention or plan of becoming any sort of influencer. It just happened. And with that, I feel very fortunate to have a community that's circled around me and been brought to me to pour into, but then also very, very, very much so receive love from it all as well. And I tell y'all all the time, none of this happens without any of you. Like really, I really mean that. So as someone who had no plan of getting here, sometimes it's overwhelming to be a person online. And there are several days, especially as of late, where I don't want to create content. And it's become very clear to me over the past several months that I have no interest in selling products. I see myself as a brand advocate as far as how I work with brands and products that I believe are helpful, useful, worth your money, and can make a change in your life to some, way or another, whether it's stress relief or it's going to better the way you set up your day, how you take care of yourself. But I'm not here to sell products. And I tell brands this all the time. I have too much respect for the community that, one, I represent, because when they get access to me, they get access to everyone behind me, and two, the money that all of you make to just push products in front of you because I'm getting a check, right? The solution is not more. It actually is less. And as far as my message of encouraging, empowering, equipping people with the tools to take care of themselves and remind themselves that they matter, that their health and wellness matters. You don't need the cutest, coolest, most latest color of a cup. I'm gonna tell you that right now. If that's what you want and that makes you feel good, by all means, indulge. But that's not what I feel my superpower is to push products on y'all. So as an advocate first for health and wellness in your everyday, and encouraging you to invest in tools and products and services that can increase your lifespan and longevity, 100%. As an influencer who has a responsibility to all of you, I hold that very near and dear to my heart, and I take that with true responsibility. So I love y'all, and I appreciate y'all for rocking with me. All right. This is a good question as well in the same vein. How do you stay so focused professionally? I'm gonna tell you right now, every single day, I'm like a puppy in a park. When you're your own boss, deadlines tend to shift outside of when you're working with brands. And I struggle as far as the structure of my day quite often. Excuse me. I'm still looking for the best system for myself to stay on task because I'm quite stretched and scattered. But as far as focused professionally, when it comes to setting goals, it's hard for me to set long-term goals because 3 to 5 years is quite far away. A lot of life can happen and has happened for me in a shorter amount of time. So although I don't have specific things or a visual, even though I love a visualization, I love a vision board, I lead with how I want to feel and where I want to spend my time and the life experience I want to make sure I'm having. So I want to be able to wake up and move my body first thing in the morning, enjoy slow, quiet moments in the morning before my day picks up, which is why I get up earlier. I don't want to work in an environment that's constantly hectic and frantic and chaotic. I understand there's seasons of where we have to push and hustle, but that living that every single day is too much for my central nervous system. I'm gonna be very honest. I know I want to make sure I'm able to spend time with my family and my friends when I want to. Again, knowing that there's balances of that, but making sure I'm able to take time to spend it with the people that I love, which I need to get better at as my own boss. And really, it's just a daily understanding of like what I'm good at and not being swayed by social media, your phone, what other people are doing, and it doesn't mean negatively. It also can be, for me, inspirationally. I see what other people are doing. I'm like, oh, I love that. That's such a good idea. So some trial and error comes in that. Maybe I try shooting a content this way, or I lean into more of this area, or I explore and know a new platform and it isn't for me, and being comfortable pivoting from there. So what keeps me focused professionally is having in mind how I want to feel and checking in daily if I'm living into the values that I say I want to feel, which is for me is healthy, connected, respected, expanded. I would say rested, but I'm always tired, but also rested, at ease perhaps, and loved in everything that I do. I'm going to circle back on this one, but if you guys have things you use, definitely let me know. How do you personally assess and set your goals and targets? The only answer I have to share is I do it quarterly. I don't do it annually. That's crazy to me. No shade or disrespect. But also, setting a goal January 1 and having that goal for a year without taking into account into life happenings is really hard for me, just based off of my lived experience. So I like quarterly goals. But if you guys use different systems or approaches, let me know in the comments because I would love to know, especially because we're coming up on the end of the year. What is your coffee order? I'm gonna share it right now. This one right here is an iced oat milk latte. I use maple syrup as a natural sweetener. The milk in here is Clefia Farms pumpkin spice, which I'm usually not a PSL girly, but this oat milk has a chokehold on me. Otherwise, just normal oat milk. So iced oat milk latte or a 10 ounce specifically, and I have some passionate reasons why. If you aren't following me on Substack, I'll link it here, A Healthy Hustle on Substack. I get into why the world needs a 10 ounce latte or a flat white as of lately. I don't like a lot of milk. I didn't grow up drinking milk really at all past infancy. There's just something about the taste of it I am not into, to the point where I don't even rock with vanilla ice cream. I need something else in there. So when the ratio, this is really passionate, when the ratio is off to me, it's very frustrating to me because I like the taste of espresso. I don't like the taste of milk. So when it tastes like a milkshake, I'm not having it. Next, by the way, we're gonna get into like some health, wellness, and training things now since we're off about me. Which wearable trackers do you use? A ring, watch. So the trackers that I use, I showered. Let me go get my watch. Okay, so the trackers that I use, I first use my Oura Ring. I have been wearing an Oura Ring since 2020 or 2021. The reason why I first started wearing an Oura Ring is because being my mom's caregiver and being in a relationship that was not the most healthy, I had terrible, terrible sleep anxiety. I mean, could not sleep, woke up super irritable, super exhausted, like just my sleep was wrecking my overall health. I lost a lot of weight during that time too, for I think a few different reasons. When I have anxiety, I lose my appetite, but I really wanted to get a better understanding of my sleep. And that's why I like the Oura Ring, because I think it's best viewed as a tool to help track trends. I know a lot of people have different feelings about wearables and the dependencies people have with wearables and the negative relationship people can develop with wearables, because it feels like it's this measure of, accomplishment or achievement. And if you don't, close your rings or hit a certain number of hours of sleep, that you're underachieving on your wellness, and it creates like this wellness anxiety, which goes against everything the wellness industry should be pushing. A conversation for another day. So I like the Oura Ring to track overall trends. And then within the past 2 years, they've introduced more women's health features. So I am someone who does not experience a lot of symptoms around my period. I don't get crazy cramps. I have noticed cravings within the past probably year that I've been able to pay better attention to, because things like the Oura Ring, where it tracks your body temperature, you can add notes when things are seemingly different, and you can figure out your own body's trends. I'm also not on any birth control, so I have a consistent period, natural hormones, and this has been very helpful for me for the Oura Ring. And plus it just looks nice. I wear it when I lift, I wear it when I wash my hands, I wear it when I sleep, and I've never had any issues. And then Apple Watch, this specifically is Apple Watch Ultra. I freaking love it, and I'm so glad to be back with the Apple Watch family. I'm an Apple girly, iPad, phone, laptop, AirPod Maxes, AirPods, all of it. I love a system and products that do it all. And they all speak to each other. I'm very much into that, because my brain, like I said, puppy in a park, we are scattered. What I really loved about Apple Watch, specifically Apple Watch Ultra 2, is I use it to train. So I use it for my long runs, my short runs, my speed workouts. Awesome, awesome feature if you're a person that goes to the track. It uses its different location trackers, or I guess, what is that? Gosh, the brain's blanking right now. Satellites. It uses different satellites to pick up where you are located. And as soon as you step on a track, it'll be like, hey, Apple Watch, or we see you're at a track. What lane are you in? And those types of features just feel like it makes my training experience so much more easeful. I also love that the location and the paces are way more accurate than watches that I've used more previously. And what I really love above all else is I'm someone who runs. I still, despite all the racing I've done, don't consider myself a runner. And that's my whole life is shaped around, and I'm really aggressive with it. I'm very strict with it. I suppose outside looking in, it looks that way. But running is something that I do. It's my number one modality of a way of moving and training right now. But when I pull up and have this on my watch, it doesn't define me as a runner, because I'm not wearing this giant compass of a watch that's a running watch. Yes, I understand the interface is large for some people. For me, it works, but I love that everything is right here. I can see my Oura Ring stats. I can use it to track my period on here for women's health. If you sleep with it, you can get your sleep metrics. Obviously, it holds all my training around my data, but then I also can check in with my schedule. I can send a text message. I found myself less attached to my phone wearing Apple Watch, where I have all my notifications turned off. But if I need to tap in, or I have that urge to grab my phone to check something, I can just look at my watch and be like, oh, nothing's happened there. We all know those phantom buzzes. I know I'm not the only one. I can just tap in and keep moving throughout my day. So these two are the ones that I wear the most. Apple Watch and Oura Ring. I used to wear the Coro's heart rate band. I just stopped wearing it. I don't know. I don't like being restricted on my arm. I'm gonna be very honest. So that's that. What else we got? Ooh, I got a question around my daily/nighttime skincare routine. Let me know in the comments if you want that, because I'll do a separate video at nighttime. That would be cute. We should do a nighttime wind down. Maybe we'll do the nighttime version of this. I don't know what that means or look like, but that could be cute. Let's get into training and running, because I think that's where people not necessarily are most interested, but where my appeal comes the most of the way that I train and how I train and what I'm training for and all that stuff. Okay, so currently, the question is, I'll lead with that. Do you have a typical on-off cardio versus strength training schedule? So my training schedule or training layout for the week is dependent on what season I am in for running right now. So for the past 2.5 years, running has been my main training target, right? Specifically distance running. And so all of my strength training, all of my mobility work, all of my workouts throughout the week and recovery are targeted to support and increase performance around running, which is really important to think about for those of you who are looking to set up your training program for the week. What are you training for? Are you training for strength? Are you training to build muscle mass? Are you training for endurance around any of those areas? Are you training for mobility? And then how you structure your week is designed to support your goal, right? So my goal right now is I have an ultra coming up in the spring, a race I've been looking forward to for the past 2 years, which I'm very excited to finally do. And all my training will look like whatever's needed to design that. So right now, since I am in, I suppose this is preseason. It's not really off season. It's in preseason to the actual training block. I am running still 4 times a week. Nice, smooth, easy miles, conversational pace. Trying to get a better handle on my heart rate when I run because it tends to shoot up. So taking the slow miles and not being impatient with that. I'm also doing a lot of strength work 3 times a week. So that's 7 days right there. 3 times a week, which that third workout being more mobility work than actual strength training around the imbalances in my body, strength-wise. I'm right-handed and I played an overhead sport. So the power that my body is able to generate on my right side versus my left side definitely has some gaps. I was actually just in the Grand Cayman at a run camp with Palm Heights Athletics and different labs. And we did some gait analysis and some power output. And there was quite a significant gap between, was it my right and my left or my left and my right? Between one of the legs. I got to tap back into that and I'll share that conversation. But there's a gap. And so I'm approaching this time I'm in right now, basically until December probably, to correct some of those imbalances. I'm working with a new strength coach, which is really, really great. It's all like the slow, boring stuff that makes a big difference because for so long, I've just been a strong athlete. I have been even when I played volleyball. So when I tore my ACL in college, my coaches were quite surprised that I was injured, which is more of a fluke thing than it was a result of me not being physically able or capable. That my strength has masked a lot of my imbalances for a long time, but this is the most mileage I've ever put on my body. By the end of this month, I would have already hit 1,200 miles for the year, and we still have a month and a half to go. If I got to 1,500, I'd be sick. But it's the most mileage my body's ever had to hold and absorb, right? And over time, the strength bases are definitely being broken down, especially because I haven't taken time to have a proper base building strength season where I'm strength training more than I'm running, and I can feel some weaknesses really starting to develop in my body or be exposed in my body. They've always been there. My low back, my right SI joint has been like this little flare for the past 2 years. My lumbar, pelvic, core area feels very weak. I haven't spent as much time working there, so I'm thinking more farmer's carries, more plank holds, just more positions where I have to hold core strength for a longer amount of time, which then translates to running because you're thinking you're running upright for a long enough time. Your core, especially those deep abdominals, have to be able to generate power and hold posture when you're going, knee driving, right? So that's one of the things I'm working on. So my runs are typically a speed day, a strength or hills day, easy run, tempo run, or long run also. Now, if I was out of season, it would just be reversed. I would be spending more time strength training than I would running, which is going to be the case. I say this because I already have it in my brain. I'm not going to be, I don't know, not even tricked, like tempted to run a fall marathon. I want to get wicked fast this summer. So I'm going to take some time off after this race, but we'll flip it around. All right. Next question. Favorite or best pre-run fuel? This is a tough one just because everyone's body is different, and I understand you're asking me specifically, so I'll answer it for me. I'll go best because I can't say favorite anymore because I've been eating the same thing for the past several years and it gets the job done. I can't say I look forward to it. So if I'm thinking, especially like long run or before a race, the night before, I keep it super simple: rice, chicken, veggie. In the morning, I either do oatmeal with a little bit of peanut butter and like blueberries or strawberries, or I'll do a bagel with a little PB and fruit as well. Nothing super sexy. My gut likes it. I perform well on it. And then while I'm running, which is a question you didn't ask, but I'll answer anyway. Morton gels. I love a Morton gel. The caffeine gel is like the best punch your body could ever need when you're working out, especially in a long run. And I also have used UCAN, which just has a different flavor profile and texture. Ooh, I love this one. Any running dreams? So I was able to check off a running dream this past Labor Day with my sisters at the Around the Crown 10K in Charlotte. A beautiful race, a diverse race, an easy, smooth, fun. Okay, it's not easy and smooth. It's actually quite hilly course, but it just felt good because the vibes are sick. So you run on their interstate. I was able to run a race with my sisters. I have 3 sisters, Denise, Brianna, and Aisha. 2 of them were able to run. And I have really appreciated and cherished being able to share a lot of my run experiences with them as they see me go after big, scary goals, like running my first marathon and also my ultras. It's been really, it's been quite incredible to see them challenge themselves the same way and find success and find confidence through the sport that's provided me so much of the same. So they ran their first 10K. They're also going to run their first half marathon next fall in Toronto at the Toronto Half in October. I'm telling the internet to hold them accountable, not in a forceful sister way, but also we set big goals and we go after big goals. So I'm psyched to be training with them all summer and be their coach for their first half, because the Toronto Half Marathon has a very, very special place in my heart. I ran it back in 2020 or 2021 or 2022. I don't even remember anymore. 2022 maybe? 23? Yeah. Had to be 2022. And I PB'd on the course. It's also because it's shared the same course as the marathoners. So the course splits when the half marathoners are done. I finished the race and I thought to myself, wow, I could keep going. And that's when I knew I was ready for a marathon. So Toronto Half Marathon, I cannot wait to come back next year. TCS, let's do it. Oh, and this is actually a perfect one to wrap on, because I think talking about traveling and running, the number one question that I get is, how do you manage all the travel and training? Do you take enough time for peace? I'll answer that first part. How do you manage all travel and training? I have come to understand what my body most needs and how to adapt my schedule to my lifestyle. So I long run typically on Fridays. If I have a trip coming up, I'll move it to earlier in the week before the trip. If I'm not familiar with where I'm going and I don't think there'll be enough road, honestly, to run, or time, because I also don't want to force it. Or I will always travel with shoes with me. You know, running, like I said, is a way for me to explore inner and outer landscapes. And when I'm in places, especially new places, I'll throw on my shoes either way. Since I'm not going for any crazy PBs or finish times, everything is leisurely, everything is smooth. a lot of it is just time on feet. So I'll always pack my sneakers with me. I, ahead of time, will check out Strava to see if there's any routes around where I'm staying. I'll also see if where I'm staying offers a gym or if I can have access to a gym where I'm going. If not, but also I'll bring mini bands with me just to get some type of movement or workout in. It's really about, making it work for you, especially as someone that travels a ton. Let's say you're not training for a race and you're just wanting to live a more healthy, active lifestyle when you're traveling. The goal is to maintain. It's not to progress. There is too many factors you have to balance all at once in order to find true progress while you're training, especially or traveling, especially if it's a quick trip. So I think to myself, I'm going on this trip for maybe 5 days. The goal here is just to get the work done. It may not result in the best run or the strongest strength session, but let's get the work done. Let's making sure I'm fueling my body as best as possible. I'm drinking water. I am getting enough sleep. And when I'm going to places like Europe, that can be a challenge to find water and vegetables. But I do my best. And that's all I can ever do, because at the end of the day, life is meant to be lived. And I'm a person who runs. Running does not run my life. Second part of that question, do you take enough time for peace? Yeah. Peace looks different for everybody. Traveling for me is an opportunity to be exposed to new cultures and new people. And I really do find inspiration and pull energy from novel spaces. That said, when I'm home, I am a home. I am in my house. I am a homebody. My sisters always try to get in my face about, you need to come out more when you're home and spend more time. And not only seeing them, but just out of my house. But I spend a lot of time outside when I'm away from home because my work is outside of Chicago. So when I'm home, I'm home. I've always been a homebody. My mom was a homebody. I love a snuggle up on the couch moment. I keep it easy. I keep it cute. I've worked hard for the place that I live, and I love the place that I live in. So that's what peace looks like to me. Just like both sides of that, the inhale and the exhale. Okay. I think that's a lot. Yeah, it's like 40 minutes of talking. If you stayed around this long to catch all of that, I really appreciate you. Again, like, comment, subscribe, share. I really want to get to know y'all. YouTube has been so wonderful since I just started. Great feedback. So fun to get to know y'all. And I feel very fortunate to be in a space where I'm able to connect with people from around the world. As a woman, as a Black woman, and the America that we live in now, and a person in both of those spaces that's outside in the streets, I take a lot of pride and, again, responsibility in being a Black woman in this space of running. And honestly, even within strength, training, health, wellness, someone who lives a holistic lifestyle, and being able to share that with all of you and encourage you to take parts of it that maybe you can apply to your life or that resonate is a gift. And I appreciate y'all so much for being here. Yeah. So I'd like to get to know you. Again, share, what's one way you like taking care of yourself, maybe a moment you're proud of this year, where you're joining from, or any questions that you have. Just drop them in the comments. I will get to them in our next Yap Chat. Appreciate you so much for being here, and I'll check you in the next video.